Hello all. Welcome to my recap of Strategy Arena's Async tournament number 5. This is looking like it's the last base game tournament hosted by this Discord server um, for now, as the next two tournaments are Rise of Ix format since that expansion has come out. Um, so this will be similar format to the review I did of Async Tournament 4. I was just taking screenshots on my phone, so I'll be flipping through those, trying to remember what I was thinking through this game. Uh, this did finish up about a month ago. Um, just haven't gotten around to reviewing it. It did wrap up around when I was at World Series of Board Gaming, so I did not end up registering for Async Tournament 6. Um, but anyways, let's meet the players we have here. So in first position, we have Squirrels Gone Wild. I believe this is their first finals that they've made in these tournaments. We've got Do Not Copy. Um, this is their third final table. They made it in tournament number 2 and 3 as a finalist, but have not won one yet. We have myself. I've been in 3 straight finals now, 3, 4, and 5, but also yet to win. And we have Bonsa, also um, has made 3 straight finals, 3, 4, and 5, and has not won yet. And also, for those of you that did not read on the Discord, big congrats to Bonsa for being the grand final winner at World Series of Board Gaming, where, fortunately for them, Dune ended up being the final game. Um, so, uh, yeah, thanks to the server administrators over at Strategy Arena for putting these tournaments together. I think Bonsa, like myself, you know, found this server and thought it was a great way to get in some practice for base Dune Imperium because that was what was being played at WSBG at the time. So I didn't do as great as I want. I only made it into the second round, so yet to make it to a final table at WSBG, but it's always next year. I live in Vegas, so I'll definitely be there every year, most likely. Anyways, let's move on to the game here. Um, I don't love the leaders that we have available to us here. Um, Helena is the only leader here that interests me in among the choices that I play a lot. But of course, Bonsa takes him. Yeah, she's great in position 4. Um, always having access to those cities and seeing how combat plays out, and early on, just having your pick of what shows up on the Imperium row. So without even looking at the Imperium row, I'm 90% sure this is going to be a Baron game. I would really prefer to play Beast or Ilbon, but they're not here. So Baron is the best remaining leader. I think I'll go with that. Might consider Leto, but I haven't had much success playing him. Plus, I always just feel awkward having to always want to have a spice on hand so that you can make use of his signet ring. And I don't like being kind of pigeonholed into that. Baron is kind of similar with needing a Solari, but I feel like that's a lot more flexible than always having to hang on to a spice. Um, so that's what I go with. Here's the Imperium row. We've got early Kwisatz on the board, which is interesting. Other interesting thing, every other card has faction access. Um, so could be some good alliance fighting in this game. So picking up my Master Stroke factions, I do go with Fremen and Bene Gesserit here. Um, Fremen is pretty much almost always a choice, especially in base game. Uh, just because Siege Tabur is the only space on the board that requires influence to access, so that just gives you more flexibility. There's nothing else really speculating on to unlock um, with uh, faction um, access. There are a couple of cards, but none of them on display in the Imperium row right now. Emperor can be a nice consideration sometimes, just because the alliance bonus of 2 troops can be interesting to make some moves in combat sometimes. Here I go Benny Gesserit though, just because looking back at what was available on the Imperium row, you've got 2 cards here with Benny access, so stack that on top of a free bump might make it easy to pick up that alliance at some point. So opening hand, not really what you want to see. You want to get your, what I like to have is lay down those faction uh, bumps and then also use my signet ring, none of which I have in my hand. So we do have squirrels going to still suits, picking up a second water, particularly with Kwisatz on the board, probably expecting to see a research station here. And copy goes to Arakeen. I would have loved to go to Arakeen myself, just to draw one of those 3 cards I just mentioned about to have a better play in round 1. But instead, I think I just have to look at using these yellow cards here to make my way towards getting a Swordmaster. So I think either secure contracts or Haga Basin could be defensible here. Particularly with both Dunes in my hand, maybe I probably go Haga Basin here and then hit up secure contracts, which will be a guaranteed play next turn, since no one else is going to have any spice. So I do that. I do limp in 1 troop. I think that's a little optimistic. Hoping for the 3rd place to get that extra 2 Solari, so I can immediately go for Swordmaster next round. I say that's optimistic because I've got Helino going after me with 2 turns left still, so probably hoping that they just have better things to do on non-combat spaces and let me get that 3rd place, since Squirrels and Copy have already committed quite a bit to this combat. But yeah, so Bonsa's first move is to secure contract, so I like to see that non-combat space. Squirrels goes to Hall of Oratory, gets extra persuasion. So maybe they got a low persuasion hand and wants to pick up one of these 3 costers, or maybe the 4 coster if they like Siege Mother. Copy goes to Carthag. Interesting, so no faction access for him. Doesn't put in an extra troop. Um, Reasonable because Squirrels has already used up all his turns, has no intrigues in hand, so there's no um, risk here of being overtaken by Squirrels. Um, and then here for my turn, yeah, I'm just going secure contract. I'm getting that early Swordmaster. That's my line here. Yep. And then looks like Bonsa goes to Carthag, throws in 3 troops to contest this combat with Leto. It looks like Bonsa reserved the Siege Mother, and Squirrels gets the Benny Sister, or maybe Copy does. Yeah, Squirrels gets Benny Sister, Leto gets a Gunthopter. So yeah, um, Squirrels was sitting on 2 Persuasion, picks up 1 with the Hall of Oratory to have his choice of several decent 3 costers in hand there. And then I pick up Space Travel here. Chris Knife also worth consideration here to work up the Fremen track, but I do like Space Travel with 2 Persuasion. You're not upset if you end up not using it. Plus, draw a card. Nice to just cycle through your deck more. Um, Going early Swordmaster, you, especially if you get in round 2, that enables you to hit up a lot of faction spaces to get a lot of points that way. And get multiple alliances, which is something that Baron is good at, having an additional 2 free bumps passively. And then having that space and guild access, if you hit up full space a lot, that gives you a lot of faction access. So take a lot of actions, go to a lot of faction spaces, get all your fen trips, and get hopefully 2 alliances. So I think that's going to be my game plan this game. So looks like Bonsa did reveal a sword, which ties them at 7, but it seems that Copy picked up a combat intrigue so that he can take away this round 1 point. And I get nothing for my 1 troop limp in, so that's sad for me. So next round, Copy goes to Secrets first, gets another intrigue and a Benny point, um, or 1 spot up the Benny track. This is a hand I didn't like to see 2 faction accesses and my signet. Um, there's no way to use all of them. So to get Swordmaster this turn, I have 2 choices: either go to Wealth, then Swordmaster. It would be Dagger to Swordmaster because I don't have enough leftover Solari to trigger Signet Ring, so might as well hold on to that extra persuasion. Or I can go Signet Ring to secure contract. That gives me enough Solari to get 1 more Solari so I can get an intrigue. So it's a choice between getting an intrigue or getting a faction bump. Looking at it now, I think the faction bump is probably the way to go, especially if you look back at round 1. Um, Only 1 agent was sent to faction access this entire round, which tells me that everyone, like me, did not have their faction access in their opening hand. So all these faction spots are probably going to be highly contested now. So I think Wealth is the correct play here, but I do go secure contract because I just want an intrigue. It's always good to have an intrigue in your hand to make your combat power a little bit more unpredictable. So yeah, looking back at last round, I took space travel, and Bonsa did take the Siege Mother that they reserved with their Signet Ring. So next turn, Bonsa does go to Wealth. Copy goes to Still Suits, and Squirrels goes to Research Station. Yeah, so probably setting up for the Kwisatz there for Squirrels. And now looking at this board, there is only 1 more faction space left that I can go to. And Bonsa and Squirrels still have a turn left, and they probably have faction access they want to use. So I think that the thought here is if I go Dagger to Swordmaster now, Diplomacy and Seek Allies are just going to be dead cards because someone's probably going to take that full space. So I think I just take that full space now. And I do it with Seek Allies. Normally when you're in this position where you have both Seek Allies and Diplomacy and you can only use 1, you usually err towards the side of Diplomacy so that you can keep more faction access in your deck for the future. But I think here I want to maintain myself at 3 Persuasion because I'm eyeing the Chris Knife. I think that's the card I would prefer to have, so I go ahead and use the Seek Allies here. Yeah, so I do have Bonsa going into Hardy Warriors, so he does get himself a faction bump, only drops in 1 troop, and then Squirrels goes to Hall of Oratory, so that's probably the last bump they need to pick up Kwisatz. So I pick up Space and Guild Administrator here, so that's another Space and Guild access for me. Also round 2, still pretty early to be picking up a card that trashes, so that'll be nice to thin out my deck a bit and hopefully visit full space a lot, get a lot of full space in my deck, trash out the starter deck, and just be spamming these faction points. So combat looks like Copy had intrigue again to take away the combat as Squirrels reveals for 2 swords to bring them up to 6. So another win for Copy on an early combat. And yeah, it looks like Bonsa picks up Dr. Wei and a liaison, and Squirrels gets the Kwisatz. Um, I think Dr. Wei is interesting. That's probably the only one cost card I ever really consider picking up. Um, I do like it particularly with Helena, being he has only blue access, that Helena can never be blocked. Um, I mean, it is nice that it turns Arakeen into a double draw space, so that works out quite nicely for cycling through your deck, and I do like deck building strategies, um, and then also spice and slow strategies. So, uh, yeah, that's just my little soapbox on the only one coster I like. But moving into next round, um, yeah, it looks like spice has been building up here on Imperial Basin. So I think I'm just going to snag that first. No one else is at 8 Solari, so I can wait for Swordmaster next turn, although that is a little risky because if Bonsa has the intrigue that gives him Solari, could block me, but I think I agreed and want that bonus spice here. Um, yeah, and I'll hold on to my troops. I want to maintain 2 just so I have the flexibility to trigger Master Stroke. Um, with Hardy Warriors, if I can get some water at some point. However, we have Bonsa here going to secure contract, Squirrels going to Haga Basin, Copy going to Great Flat. And looks like I lost a garrison troop, so I think that Gunthopter that Copy picked up was what he used to go to Great Flat. Unfortunate for me, gonna make it hard to trigger that Master Stroke. So I do take my Signet to Swordmaster, get that round 3 Swordmaster. Could have been round 2, but unfortunately the cards didn't work that way for me. Bonsa, of course, with the secure contract, gets them enough for their Swordmaster, so they pick up as well. Being Helena, they can't be blocked. Squirrels goes to Sel Milan, so now they're positioned to pick up Swordmaster as well. And Copy hits up Conspire, so they're working up their way for Solari as well. So last turn, yeah, Guild Administrator to full space, working up that space and guild track, and trashing something. Yeah, yeah, trashing the Dune. Yeah, Dune, Signet Ring. I've got Dune. Play Guild Administrator, Dune is gone. Trash the Dune. Yeah. Okay. Then we have Bonsa going to Still Suits, getting their Fremen Friendship. Squirrels, looks like they had their Kwisatz, and use that to pick up their Swordmaster, so 3 Swordmasters picked up on round 3. And then Copy just reveals here, looks like they picked up Duncan. Um, and here, looking at this board, I'm thinking Squirrels and Bonsa don't have any troops in garrison. There's only 1 troop committed. There's a point on the line for the combat here. So I do go and use the intrigue to take Mentat, go to Carthag, see if I can push in 2 troops here for a cheat point. But since Squirrels did have Kwisatz to pick up their Swordmaster, they do get an extra turn, which they use to go to Arakeen, push in another troop. Um, and what do I do here? With 2 persuasion, probably pick up a, well, I guess I picked up a liaison, but assassination drone, I think is a interesting pickup here, because I'm sitting with 7 cards in my draw pile, so I'm not going to reshuffle my deck. Assassination drone would end up in your discard pile, and ideally, I would know that I have Guild Administrator coming up so I can use that to trash it. without ever having to draw it, because that's a card you don't want to see in your hand. Um, so yeah, this is another one coster that this is the one coster I probably pick up most. But particularly in these situations where I can get it in my discard pile, not shuffle it in my deck, and find a way to trash it. Um, so I do have 2 spice. I can hit up selective breeding. That could be a play, but it's still on board, so I guess I picked up a liaison here. Yeah, and squirrels pushed in a troop, and it looks like they reveal 2 swords, which there's nothing I can do about, so they come away with the combat. So 1 spice and intrigue. Um, Not a great investment for 2 troops, but it was worth a try, worth a shot going for the point, I guess. Um, yeah, next round going last. Bonsa goes secrets first. Squirrels goes Haga Basin. And then Copy goes still suits and pushes in a troop. And looks like he's going for the Fremen Alliance. So I've got 2 daggers, Dune, faction access here. What do I do? Oh, and last combat gave me Chomp shares as an intrigue. So I do want to keep pumping money here. So I think a play to wealth makes sense. Or maybe I want to use my space travel to fold space. That could be a play as well because I have 2 daggers, I'm not going to have a lot of buying power this round anyways, so might as well use the faction access while it's available. But I guess what I do is I take my fold space to selective breeding, which draws 3. I do get 4 Solari out of it, so I guess I did pick up an assassination drone here at some point. Maybe I picked one up and another one revealed. Yeah. But yeah, it gets me 4 Solari, which I'm gonna need for Chomp shares, so happy with that. Um, it does draw me a lot of faction access though, which you prefer to have spread out between your turns, but um, it does give you a lot of options for this turn. But not enough to buy a Spice Must Flow, which is kind of what you want to do on turns that you draw a lot of cards. Um, but I think at this point I just haven't trashed enough yet. I need to get these daggers out of my deck. I need to get these dunes and reconnaissance out. I need to draw more higher persuasion cards to make that a reality. So next round, Bonsa goes to Arakeen. Squirrels goes to Hardy Warriors to contest this combat. Bonsa pushes in a troop as well, and Copy goes to Wealth. So he's making his way towards Emperor Alliance as well. Here, I think probably just go Guild Admin to fold space here and trash a dagger. I don't think I'm really interested in this combat with 0 troops in garrison. I can't contest it. I don't have blue access anyways. Yeah, I actually don't have a way to push in a troop at all, so yeah, might as well just trash a dagger now. So that's why I do actually go to diplomacy. Oh, that makes sense because that's the only faction spot left. I could just take the guild administrator to a yellow space next turn. Okay. Yeah, last turn, Bonsa goes to Carthag. Squirrels goes to Secure Contract. I think that's the space I would have preferred to go to. But I can still take Guild Administrator to Imperial Basin and get 1 spice. Not the best turn ever, but it's something. And trash a dagger. Alright, so looks like Bonsa and Squirrels reveals. Someone buys the power play. Reveals a shifting allegiances for me, so I think that's the buy for me. Always love shifting allegiances. Excellent 3 cost card. Yeah, it looks like Squirrels just took a liaison on that turn. And Leto also just took a liaison. And the combat ends in a tie, so no one gets that point. Um, You'll love to see that. That'll slow down your opponents. All right, next round. Squirrels goes to Siege Tabur. Drops in a troop. No one has anything in garrison, so that's a combat point up for grabs. Leto finally picks up Swordmaster round 5. Everyone else has had it since round 3. And what have I got? Yeah, I just go still suits here. Yeah, I need to pick up water. Yeah, I still haven't triggered um, Masterstroke yet. Uh, and it's looking like it's going to be difficult to fill up my garrison, especially when someone's got a Gunthopter out there that's just killing troops. So I think the path to trigger it is hit up a Highliner at some point. Um, so with Water Peddler Union, Intrigue in hand, that's a nice sneaky way to have access to Great Flat unknowingly. Unfortunately, there are 2 other players with 2 water that could take it. So that'll delay my plans a little bit, but it is round 5. I still have plenty of time to figure out a way to trigger that Masterstroke. So we have Bonsa. Yeah, Bonsa does take the Great Flat, which is what I would have wanted to do. Squirrels take Secure Contract. So they're piling up money, which is interesting. They already have enough for High Council. I'm the one with Trump shares in my hand, so I'm not sure what they need all that money for. Maybe they like to go to rally troops a lot and want to contest combats. We'll see. And copy goes to Carthag and limps in a troop. Um, Here, I think wealth, fold space with wealth, probably good play. Need money for Chome shares and to fuel my signet ring, so yeah, that's the play. And it draws me a dagger, which is useless. Well, actually, that's good, so that I don't draw it next turn. What do we do? Yeah, so next turn. Bonsa does go Conspire, gets them their Emperor Friendship, a bunch more money, troops, and intrigue. Interesting that everyone's going for money here, and there's money reward in this combat. Squirrels does pick up a High Council here, and Copy goes to Hardy Warrior, so he's the one committing to this combat here. So I think I just use my Signet Ring, probably Arakeen. No, Mentat. I don't love Mentat here. I think I should save my Solari for that Chome shares. Why am I doing that? Oh well. Urgent Mission is a nice intrigue pickup though. Yeah, and then drawing Guild Administrators, I think that kills uh, hopes of picking up Assassination Drone, because I think that would be a nice play to pump in more Solari, but I don't think I want to go selective breeding again. I need to save my spice for a Highliner because I need to trigger that Masterstroke. So next turn it looks like Bonsa gets their High Council, and then Squirrels moves their agent, probably with their Kwisatz, over to Secrets. And Copy reveals and doesn't take anything from row. So maybe another liaison. Here, probably just use my guild admin and trash something. Where does he go? Oh, yeah. Yeah, fold space still available. So yeah, definitely take a faction bump where I can. So that gets me another 3 Solari, and I trash a dagger with it. Yeah, and then yeah, this jumps ahead to after my buy, so I think someone else picks up the Fremen camp. Pretty sure I picked up Cariel. Normally not a great card for 5 persuasion, but in the situation I'm in where I really need to hit Highliner to trigger my Master Stroke, um, I'm thinking I really want to use that Cariel to get me the spice to do that. So looks like yeah, Leto secures this combat, and Squirrels gets the second place for another 4 Solari. So next round, copy goes to Aga Basin. I use diplomacy, go to wealth. Yeah, so now I'm getting money. Now I have enough to trigger the Chom shares if I need it. Also have shifting allegiances in my hand. Um, so I think I have a couple of options what I can do with that. So I think holding off on that for a minute to see what everyone else does before I decide what to do shifting allegiances is my thought here. But Bonsa goes to Imperial Basin for 2 spice. Squirrels goes to Secrets. Copy goes to Arakeen. No one's putting in troops here. Um, like I said, 2 people already have High Council. Everyone's got their Swordmaster. I don't think there's a ton of use for Solari left in the game, so I don't think anyone's really all that interested in this combat. So I go to Karthag and limp in 1 troop. I'm definitely still interested in Solari, knowing that I'm going to dump 7 into Chom shares. So if I can get 6 or 4, that would be great. And yeah, that puts me up to 4 intrigues. So just play the Water Peddler here to get it out of my hand, so I don't get it stolen. And Allied Armada, another nice pickup, but also another reason for wanting to get a lot more spice. So I've got a lot of spice demand um, for the things I want to do. Allied Armada, Shifting Allegiances, I want to hit up Fold Space, so yeah, I really want to get some good value out of that carry-all here. So next turn, Bonsa goes to Selective Breeding, gets their Benny Friendship. Squirrels goes to Rally Troops, so that's how they're spending their Solari. And Copy goes to Hall of Oratory, so he's looking to buy something. Then here, 1 troop left. I've got Shifting Allegiances. So given that I think I'm going to get a lot of money back from this combat, I think I just go for a High Council here, which gives me an option of getting Spice Must Flow in the next round or 2, probably. So I think Shifting Allegiance here to High Council is probably what I do. And then as far as alliances, I still have a Benny and Fremen bump on the table for Master Stroke. And I do want to hit up Highliner, so I think what I do here is I go down on the Spacing Guild access. That's also gonna enable another 3 Solari when I retake that alliance because no one is close to me right now. So I think I can greed that and then go up 2 on the Benny Gesserit track, so that when I trigger Master Stroke, I can get that alliance as well. Um, could also go up 2 on the Emperor track. Gets me 2 troops. And that could be an easier way to trigger Master Stroke. But going Hardy Warriors gets me an extra Fremen bump I don't need. I'm feeling a little behind right now, and I think Highliner is my path to victory. So I think that's what I got to commit to. Um, and I think going for the Benny Gesserit Alliance, knowing that I have a free bump with Master Stroke left, is a little bit safer than Emperor Alliance, which I'll only be one ahead on Leto from, and he can pretty easily chase that down with a Signet Ring, so I wouldn't feel as secure with the Emperor Alliance. So that's what I do here. Go down on spacing and up 2 on Benny Gesserit. So after that, Bonsa goes to Arakeen, Squirrels goes to Mentat, and I reveal 5. I don't think I picked up Tahani. Maybe I did. No, I didn't. I still have 2 water. Um, so I'm not sure what I bought this round. But it's getting towards the end of the game. Maybe I didn't buy anything. I don't think it's worth it to pick up liaisons at this point. Or maybe it is, since I picked up High Council and Spice Must Flows are a more reasonable option at this point. But anyways, looks like Leto threw in a troop, even though he had no agents left. And I believe that was his Gunthopter, because he also has 3 swords on top of that troop. So he comes over the top of me. Looks like Bonsa going to Arakeen also puts in 3 to come over the top of Leto. And then Squirrels, after going Mentat, puts in troops as well. So I am now really regretting going to High Council because I needed that Solari, and I thought I was getting some back because I thought no one was interested in this combat. So here my Limpin gets me nothing again, which is real unfortunate. So here I do draw my carry-all, and I do have set myself up for going to Great Flat. So that's going to be my first move here. That puts me at 7 spice. However, Copy does have enough spice for Highliner. So I think what I'm really hoping is that he does not have access to it. Because being round 7, we've got 2 points on the board for combat. So if I can go carry all and then hit the Highliner, I'll have a good shot at contesting this combat for 2 points. I'll get a point for Highliner Alliance. Revealing Master Stroke gives me Fremen Friendship and Benny Alliance, so that's 1, 2, 3 points there. For 5 points from combat, Spacing Alliance gives me another 3 Solari. So with my remaining action, I just have to pick up a little bit more Solari, and I can trigger Chomp Shares for another point, and that'll be a 6-point turn to hopefully be my path to victory this game. And then, also with Urgent Mission, I could recall a troop and just hit, I don't know, Imperial Basin, get 1 more spice so I have enough for Allied Armada to secure that combat, assuming I get to go to Highliner. So yeah, carry all to Great Flat is the first move here. But then we have bonds that go into secrets, squirrels to research station, and copy does have the Highliner access. So that's unfortunate for me. I guess Highliner will just have to wait another round. So I do take my fold space to wealth, the following action. So I still do need a bit more Solari to get my Chom shares. At this point also, I'm looking at that urgent mission intrigue in my hand. I could recall that agent, take my diplomacy to wealth again, get the Emperor Alliance, so that's another point I can scrounge up in the meantime as well. But another thing you hate to see is that fold space draws my space travel, which is my other Highliner access. So Not looking good for being able to hit Highliner next turn. Following action, looks like Bonsa just straight up early reveals to take a Spice Must Flow. So he leaves 2 agents on the board. Squirrels goes to rally troops again. And Copy goes to Carthag and pushes in another troop and gets an intrigue. So he really wants to secure this combat. Uh, for me, I think I need to draw cards here. Um, because looking at all the Highliner access in my hand means I'm not going to have it next turn. So I need to draw enough cards to reshuffle my deck next turn. So I go selective breeding here with my diplomacy. Um, it does push me below the spice I need for a Highliner, but close enough, I think, here. It does draw me another intrigue, and it helps me contest this Benny Gesserit Alliance. Stage Incident is a nice draw, so even if the Highliner is not going to scare me the next combat, that's the way I can get a point out of it. Um, and I do. Wait, what am I doing here? Anyways, let's look what Squirrels does. So Squirrels goes to Huggy Basin, Copy goes to Mentat. Looks like I do the urgent mission. Probably did that earlier to get myself under 4 cards. So I pull my guy off of selective breeding, and then yeah, probably because I want to use shifting allegiances here. I think the play is take shifting allegiances to Imperial Basin because I want to put it on a combat space and go down up on the Emperor Alliance track to take that alliance, get 2 troops, push in 1, so I can get that third place 3 spice, and that puts me back up at enough spice to play Highliner, even though I'm spending 2 on shifting allegiances. So that does get me an Emperor point. Gets me enough spice again to be able to hit Highliner if I can get the access. And yeah. Unfortunate, I'm sitting at 10 persuasion though, so that leaves me with just enough to not buy a Spice Must Flow. Although going Hall of Oratory could be another option. That leaves me with enough persuasion to buy a Spice Must Flow, but it's not a combat space, so that leaves me short on 3 spice short of being able to hit Highliner next turn. So I think I do need to limp in that troop um, because I don't think there's a way I win this without tricking Masterstroke. So I have to set myself up for the Highliner. Yep. So end up with 8 persuasion. And I think maybe I pick up the Smuggler Thopter here. Thought process is I'm drawing 4 cards, which I know are not Highliner access next round. But I do draw 1 from deck, uh, which is going to be one of these 6 cards you can see here, because I have nothing in my discard pile, it's just in my play area. And 3 of them are Highliner access, so that's a 50-50 shot at drawing Highliner access. And I think picking up Smuggler Thopter here improves my odds a little bit, because if I end up drawing that, then I can play that to draw another 2, because I don't think anyone else here is going to be contested. Squirrels might. But I think, I don't know, I could go either way. Um, but I do remember I think I picked up that small growthopter, just hoping that uh, card draw is going to help me hit that highliner. So I we do have copy in the lead by 4 swords, but Squirrel's got 3 intrigues in hand, 16 to 12. But Squirrels wins 2019, so both of them burning combat intrigues here, and Squirrels comes out on top. And I get my 3 spice for a limp in, so finally get rewarded for limping a troop in. So do not draw the Highliner access, but I do get a Shifting Allegiances back. Um, so, I mean, that gives me an option to steal Bene Gesserit Alliance, but I don't know, it's just not enough. I really need to trigger that Masterstroke. Um, so we had Bonsa go to Secrets, Squirrels go to Arakeen, and Copy go to Research Station. So I think Arakeen would have been the place I wanted to go to hit some card draw and hope to find that Highliner. Um, yeah, and since Squirrels won the last combat, they're not a threat for Highliner. Copy is not either because he was sitting at 0, so now he's sitting at 3. Um, he could go Great Flat then Highliner, but we'll see. Um, so I think I just need card draw here. So my only option is Mentat. So Signet Ring to Mentat, and of course spend a Solari on an Intrigue, which I use right away. I'm not sure what it was. Uh, and I'm sad to have to do that because that puts me further away from Chome shares. And it draws me Convincing Argument, which is not the card I wanted to see. Although it does give me, put me in a good position to buy a Spicemas Flow. But that's not enough. So next turn, Bonsa goes to Siege to Brewer, limps in a troop. Squirrels goes to Wealth. So Squirrels still does not have their Emperor friendship, so they're working on that, and they can probably get it with their Kwisatz. And Copy goes to Haga Basin and pumps in 2 troops. So here I think I'm still focused on Highliner is my path to victory. So I need card draw. There's none available to me. So I think I just have to take my shot at Intrigue. So um, Reconnaissance to Carthag, probably the play here, and push troops in just because it's getting close. This might be the last round. But don't get card draw, but a Bene Gesserit bump is nice. That'll make it easy to steal the Bene Gesserit Alliance. So then we have Bonsa going to Hardy Warriors, committing 2 troops there. Squirrels looks like they do go back to Wealth with Kwisatz to get their Emperor Friendship. And Copy goes to Selective Breeding to get their Bene Gesserit Friendship. So here, I don't think I have any more options for card draw here. I think it's just Shifting Allegiances. Okay, I remember what I did here. I think, because I remember I bought a Spicemas Flow this last turn. Um, yeah, I think shifting allegiances to Hall of Oratory to give me one more troop. Um, that's what I do here, and then I go down up on the Bene Gesserit track. So going down first lets me retake the intrigue bonus, which I believe ended up being rapid deployment, so I used that to put in the one troop. So I have enough to trigger stage incident now, and then also using the intrigue for the Bene Gesserit bump to take that alliance. And that does leave me with enough to buy a Spice Must Flow. So that's what I do. I'm just buying a Spice Must Flow here, and then everyone else revealed. Looks like Squirrels and Copy both picked up a Spice Must Flow, so Squirrels triggers the end game here. Um, yeah, so I end up never triggering my Master Stroke, which is really unfortunate for me. The cards just didn't work out. Um, and even without triggering Master Stroke, I still got 2 alliances. Um, so that's what getting a lot of Space and Guild access and hitting fold space multiple times can do for you. Also, shifting allegiances really helps you to play around getting those alliances. Um, just really unfortunate that I left that Space and Guild alliance and that Fremen um, friendship point in the bank, never being able to trigger that Master Stroke. So I end up buying a Spice Must Flow here, gets me up to 7. Come combat time, I'm going to go Staged Incident. That'll get me up to 8. Yep. Yeah, because Squirrels and Copy are way ahead, so that Allied Armada is not going to get me there for this combat. Um, not that it does much for me anyways, because 2 bumps really is just going to get me a point for a Spacing Friendship, which is the same as Stage Incident, and it's riskier. Because Leto still has an intrigue and could come over the top. And Bansa has 3 intrigues. So that's probably not something you want to risk. Just take the guaranteed points with the stage incident. So there you have it. Squirrels wins the combat. And Bansa has corner of the market, which bumps them up 2 points above me. So I end up in last place. Squirrels gets 1 more point. I'm sure they bump something up to take another point. So congrats to Squirrel. Yeah, really impressive taking out the win with Ariana here. Generally, what I consider the worst leader in the base game. Um, but yeah, picking up uh, Kwisatz round 2, definitely very powerful um, and well played. Yeah. Um, Unfortunate for Copy, Bonsa, and myself hitting 3 finals and still not winning. Um, but well played. Hope you all enjoyed and learned something. Let me know if you find these useful, and I'll keep doing them. So, thanks for watching.